Good morning. I'm here today to discuss further the charity fraud perpetrated by Glenda Sullivan, known on YouTube as Glenda Sully, after the massacre of 12 citizens at a movie theater in Aurora, Colorado. I will start with what she posted on her Facebook page, and you will find that posting as it appeared on her Facebook page earlier this year in 2019. I have here just the text. I will read. It says, "I am heartbroken. I am quilting 12 wall hangings to send to the families with their loved one's name embroidered on them. If you want to participate, please send your donation to Glenda Sullivan, P.O. Box 384, Oakhurst, New Jersey 07755. You can see the post here on this site. When she was confronted this year about that posting, she came up with the fantasy of the little old lady's quilting circle. She first tried the story out in an email to one of her subscribers. This is a subscriber who shared this email with me. I also know that this subscriber sent Glenda Sullivan money through PayPal. He gave her a gift of a tablet that she claims helped her with her Amazon business. They are no longer friends because he questioned her. I made a post on YouTube exposing this fraud, and this subscriber wrote to her either via email or on her channel, I'm not sure which one, asking for clarification of what she was attempting to do with this Facebook post. Her answer, and I'm quoting Glenda Sullivan, "I was surprised by your comment regarding my motives for the fundraiser. When I was a live-in caregiver for the 100-year-old man, I had free time while he took a nap. There is a Catholic church next door to his home. I joined a little old ladies quilting circle and learned how to make small quilted wall hangings. During this time, the tragedy happened in Aurora. We were heartbroken and praying for the families of the victims. It was suggested we could offer to make wall hangings and raise money to help with funeral expenses. I offered to put the notice on my Facebook page as I had a P.O. box and could use it instead of my home address. We weren't successful in raising any funds, but we fulfilled our promise and mailed the little wall hangings to Colorado." Shortly after, Mrs. Sullivan made a post on her YouTube channel. You will find the link to it here on this page. And the name of that video is called "A Simple Act of Kindness." As of now, it is still up. I suspect, I would not be surprised if Mrs. Sullivan does not delete that incriminating video at some point. To do so would certainly indicate consciousness of guilt. So I invite you to go to the link, watch that video for yourselves. But for our purposes here, I will let you know she claimed the same thing in a little more detail. She claimed that when she worked for this elderly gentleman, he took a nap every afternoon, leaving her 2 hours free. She said there was a Catholic church next door and that she went over there And one day she went there, she was speaking to the pastor, and he told her about the Little Old Ladies Quilting Circle. She then met the ladies. They taught her how to do some small quilted wall hangings. She did not show one of the hangings. She demonstrated with her hands that they were approximately this size and they could be embroidered with a name, and they were used for celebratory purposes, like a birthday was one of the examples she gave, etc. She went on to claim in further detail that she was at the quilting circle and they were watching television when they learned of the tragedy in Aurora. She suggested that they create a fundraiser to raise funeral expenses for the victim's family by quilting these wall hangings. She went on to suggest to them that she had a P.O. box and they could use that, and explained nobody in the quilting circle felt comfortable using their home address. No explanation was given about why they didn't simply use the church's address. No explanation was given on how quilting of these wall hangings would result in funds being raised for funeral expenses. Now, keep in mind, her post was made to Facebook less than 48 hours after the tragedy. So, presumably, it was on the day of or the day after that she learned about it there in the quilting circle, which she had already become a member of. And let me give you that date again. July 24th, 2012. I believe the shooting took place on July 22nd. It was a midnight showing, so right this minute, I'm not sure of the exact date. It will be on the website. So presumably, by the time these hangings would be made, the funerals would have been over. There's a lot of questions about how this fundraiser of making these quilted wall hangings would result in raising funeral expenses for the victim's family, because all from the Facebook post, it says nothing about sending money to victims' families earmarked for funeral expenses or anything else. It simply says to send the money to Glenda Sullivan, P.O. Box 384, Oakhurst, New Jersey. There's more than a couple of problems with this story. The gentleman that she did work for in Seagirt, New Jersey, as a caregiver, passed away in 2014 at the age of 104. Here is his obituary. He, in addition to his remarkable long life, he had a very interesting life and obviously a very successful life. He lived there in Seagirt, New Jersey, at his home with his daughter. His daughter still lives in the home. I've left out his last name. For purposes of this video, we will refer to him as Mr. Marco. While Miss Sullivan did work for Mr. Marco and his daughter, She did not work there in July 24th, 2012, the day she posted on Facebook and the day she claims to be at the church. She had long since been dismissed from that job, fired. The church that she is referring to, and there can be no mistake, she said in the email to her subscriber that it was a Catholic church. And the church she is describing is a Catholic church. It is St. Mark's Catholic Church in Seagirt, New Jersey. It is located on Crescent Parkway, which is the same street that Mr. Marco lived on and his daughter still lives on. So yes, there was a church there. Mrs. Sullivan claims she went over to the church one day and spoke to the pastor. The pastor then and now is Reverend Monsignor Sean P. Flynn. I spoke to Monsignor Flynn. The church has never had anything that could be remotely described as a little old ladies quilting circle. There is a group, a charity within that church, which is, I know from personal experience, it's a very common charity within the Church of Rome. It could be other faiths as well. But I know for a fact that this church does have a group of people, men and women, of all ages, who do needlework, mainly crochet and knit. I suppose quilting would not be out of the possibility, but they make shawls, prayer shawls, and lap cloths. They make these, they are blessed, and they are given to the ill and the grieving. I also spoke to a member in that group who was also a member in July of 2012. She, as well as other members that she spoke to, have no memory of anyone ever being in their group who was not a member of the church. This lady told me it's not that they wouldn't be welcomed, it simply has not come up. They have never had a visitor in that group who wasn't a member of the church. When I spoke to Monsignor Flynn, naturally, he speaks to hundreds and thousands of people, both members of his parish, visiting Catholics, and visitors to the church from other faiths. So, of course, he cannot recall speaking to Mrs. Sullivan, but that's not to say he didn't. But he knows for a fact he never spoke to anyone, told them about a little old ladies quilting circle, and introduced them to the members. He knows he didn't do this because such a group does not exist. Now, Glenda Sullivan at different times claims that she and the little old ladies raised zero. At other times, they claim $10,000. The $10,000 comes up many times. One place it comes up is the posting she made was in a Facebook group called donations for Colorado shooting victims and families. And by the way, on the day earlier this year when I exposed Glenda Sullivan's Facebook post, she immediately took down that post. The page still exists. The group no longer does. There is no contact information for that group. However, they claim to have raised $10,000 through a website called Give Forward, which has since been acquired by GoFundMe. Another place $10,000 was claimed is there was a YouTube channel. The channel still exists with a different name. The channel was called Shithead Laura Schilling. I'm Laura Schilling. And this channel was done after my video exposing the fraud. The video has since been deleted from YouTube, but is available on this website. It was titled In Memoriam. The video identifies one of the victims, a young man named Alex Sullivan. Presumably, Mr. Sullivan was chosen because of having the same relatively common last name. I believe that Glenda Sullivan was attempting to imply some relationship. It showed pictures of Mr. Sullivan's grieving father and some pictures of Alex himself. All of these pictures had appeared in the media, particularly the Denver newspaper and other places on site. It also said in this video, our quilting group raised over $10,000 in honor of Alex. I don't know what that means, in honor, but again, with the $10,000. This channel, Shithead Laura Schilling, has gone through several name changes. It exists now on YouTube, and the person whose broadcasts on that channel claims responsibility for making the video. Glenda, on the comments on a simple act of kindness, claims that she has no idea who this person is, who Shithead Laura Schilling is. She has no idea and asked them to please take it down. Meanwhile, on the channel today, Glenda is there for every live stream. She welcomes people to the live stream as if it's her own. She and the creator of this channel definitely have a relationship. So that's all I have for now. Thanks very much. And there's more to come. Bye.